It is in darkness that people commit their worst deeds. Dictators, authoritarian regimes, gangsters, and murderers need darkness to carry out their evil plans. It is the job of the press to shed light on the situation, to direct a spotlight or the eye of a camera, to show people what is really happening. To me, Reporters Without Borders stands for two things. First, protesting and intervening every time a journalist is thrown in jail and every time the press is subjected to violence. Second, it means supporting the victims. The worst thing for any journalist behind bars is to be forgotten. Someone must help them, help their families, pay for lawyers, doctors, travel expenses. We must stand beside them and denounce their torture. Reporters Without Borders circulated an email and fax petition signed by thousands of people to demand my release when I was in prison. The prison warden wouldn't let me leave the prison to go to the hospital. It took pressure from Reporters Without Borders for me to get medical care. In half of the world's countries, people are thrown into prison just because they don't happen to share their government's point of view. The truth is, we tend to forget this, because we are lucky enough to live in a free country. In fact, we forget it much too often. Personally, I think freedom of the press is one of the fundamental rights of every human being. It paves the way for any economic and social progress.
In fact, the freedom of the press is not the freedom of the press. The freedom of the press is the freedom of the people.
The job of journalists is most dangerous because we go and we look for militias, we look for militia leaders, we go and question police officers and government officials to tell us information. We look for things. Every single time I went out on an assignment, I risked my life.
Most of my friends, my journalist colleagues, are in jail in the Ira prison in the middle of the desert with no representation of lawyers, no contact with family, no visit with friends. Pray for them and please do not stop from caring for them and their families.